Compared to the seas of other GTAs, the sea of GTA 5 is completely bizarre. That's because the ocean in this game, it's not just about some collectibles like nuclear waste, peyotes, submarine parts, weapons, briefcases, that have all of this spread out in the GTA 5 map, right there in the sea, in the ocean, and so on. But it's not just that. In fact, there's a lot of stuff down here, and I'm going to use the dry sea mod to explore this in the best way for you guys, because when we're exploring with the sea itself, it gets kind of weird because it gets very dark, right? The brightness and so on. So I'm going to use the dry sea mod, and I'm going to show you all the Easter eggs, curiosities, and all the bizarre stuff we can find here in the GTA 5 sea. Not in the sea, right? What would be underwater in GTA 5? That said, let's get started. As I was saying at the beginning, right, there is a lot of stuff that we end up knowing just by doing the missions, okay? That's the nuclear waste, which is Davai, which is one of the side missions. Peyotes also, right? They are secondary collectibles. Submarine parts, which is a side mission. I don't remember the name of the woman. I think it's Abigail. And also throughout the map, we have various money cases. In fact, one of the locations that I will be showing here for you will have this case. And there will also be a lot of weapons, okay? So if anyone wants a video just to see the money cases, you can check it out here on the channel. There's a complete video about it. And now let's move on to the Easter eggs. Well, starting from the beginning, I'm going to bring here things that I think are a little more important right at the beginning, and then I'll leave much more important things for the end. The middle will be things that are more similar, more alike. Got it? So let's go. The first thing we can find here is part of one of the game's mysteries, which are the 8 bodies of the Infinity Killer. They are 8 bodies of women, right? In the description of the mystery, it says it's a man. This Infinity Killer is a mystery that is inside GTA 5, right? You don't get anything for solving it, but it's pretty cool. I'll make a detailed video about it later. And here you can find in this part of the map up there 8 bodies that are all wrapped up, looking pretty. They are women. You can even see that they are women using a mod with glass to pass over. Anyway, a bizarre thing. The second thing here that we can see down below, this also is part of a mystery. This one is located in front of Fort Zancudo. It is part of a mystery that is only available from the PS4 generation in GTA 5. It is the body of a woman sunk with cement on her feet. She is practically in front of a boat that is sunk in front of Fort Zancudo, okay? It's a mystery only from the new generation, as I mentioned before. So if you try on the 360 or PS3, it won't show up, only from the PS4 onward. And this woman here, she is part of the Fred's murder mystery, among other things, which is also very crazy. There is the complete resolution of this mystery here on the channel. And in this one, you get a little something that is pretty cool, okay? So if anyone wants to see it, just access the channel here, or if I remember, I'll put it in the pinned comment. And the third location here that I'll be showing, it's not a location that doesn't make much difference to you. But this location here is where there's a thermonuclear bomb. This item here, for those who don't know, is when you do the Merryweather heist mission in the high seas version. So you have to come here, steal this device under the ocean, right? Under the water, and then escape with it. So Lester tells you to return it, etc. All that weird stuff. Anyway, if you come here outside the mission, it will also be here. And with the dry sea mod, it looks exactly like this. Cool, right? Now let's move on to the airplanes that are down here in the ocean, okay? For anyone who has already explored the GTA 5 sea, whether looking for a briefcase or whatever it may be, most likely you have come across some sunken planes in this game. That's because in total we have 5 planes down there sunk, and some of them are pretty big, okay? So let's start here with a commercial plane near Paleto Bay. This plane here, it belongs to Fly Us. There is a briefcase of money near it. I just don't remember how much it is. I think it's $10,000 or is it $11,000, but it turns out that it's not worth that much, and it's all broken old. If you come here in front of this plane, you'll see that near the window there are like some bullet holes, and it's not so rusty, so it looks like it's been here for a short time, right? So you guys will understand this short time issue because there are some that are much older down here. So this one seems to have been here for a short time, but it's cool too. It's well scattered around it. We always have, actually not around it, but around almost all planes, we always have weapons or blood or armor or some weird stuff like that, right? It doesn't make much sense, but anyway, it's always there. The second plane we'll find here is also a commercial airplane. It's down there and it looks like it was actually used in front of it. It's a little more rusty, which suggests that it's probably been sunk there for longer, right? It crashed a long time ago. But from what I've searched all over the game's internet, I didn't find any reference to these crashed planes. So anyway, right? There's not much to do. You can only see them down here. And there are also collectible weapons and a bunch of stuff next to them too. Another plane that we can also see here, this time it's a very small plane, okay? It's just like that duster plane that Trevor uses at the Mackenzie airport. It's the one he gets into the cargo cargo plane with. Remember that little farmer's plane? Yeah, I think it's a crop duster plane. In fact, I think in the GTA 5 trailer, it flies over a farm spraying something like that. Anyway, there's one of these planes crashed here. It's not the same one used in the minor turbulence mission, because you can see that this crashed plane here has both wings kind of intact, and in the minor turbulence mission, we lose both wings of the plane, so it gets completely destroyed. And when it crashes, right, it doesn't crash near where the ocean would be, right? I think it would crash somewhere on solid ground, although I don't see any references in the game's newspaper, radio, or anything like that. Next up is a military cargo plane in front of Fort Zancudo. It seems to be a pretty big plane, so it could be a cargo plane. This cargo plane, for those who don't know, is the same plane from the minor turbulence mission. That's the gigantic plane that Trevor supposedly was going to stop inside Mackenzie Airport, right? It's bizarre, makes no sense at all. But anyway, and you can find it here in front of Fort Zancudo. From what it seems, either it was a cargo plane or maybe it was a Titan plane, the one that's inside Fort Zancudo. And it looks like it crashed there right after taking off, right? Right in front anyway, kind of weird. And let's move on to the last plane, which makes a total of 5, right? This one is actually the plane from the minor turbulence mission, okay? It's the cargo plane which crashes into the Alamo Sea, and we can grab a lot of weapons there after this plane goes down. However, this plane only appears here after we complete that mission. So if you're not at that part of the mission yet, there's no point in coming here, but if you've already done it, you can find all kinds of weapons here, including the railgun, which is the electric cannon, right? Depending on the version of GTA 5 you're playing, you can find it. Now, moving away from the airplane part, we've seen a lot of crashed planes. And let's go here to the part of boats, ships, and so on. And man, it's not far behind, huh? But at least it makes more sense, right? Anyway, to start off here, we have a sunken freighter, which is the Merryweather Heist freighter. When we do the Merryweather Heist in the freighter option instead of the offshore option, where we grab that bomb down under the sea, when we do this option here, we have to blow up a freighter right near the port. It's stuck there, it's parked there, right? I think that's the correct name. Anyway, if you destroy it, it stays sunk here completely forever, okay? In fact, there are bizarre ways to do these missions with the dry sea mod. I brought this in a video showing how the GTA 5 missions look with the dry sea mod. Man, it's bizarre, but it looks really cool. After that, we're going to one here, which is 3 smaller boats. It has nothing to do with the size of the cargo ship, but there are 3 of them, so at least the quantity is higher. The first one we find here is next to Fort Zancudo. It's right there, very close to the woman sunk with cement feet, right? So if you find the boat and you're looking for the woman who is harder to see, easily you can just go in front of the boat and find the woman. This boat here, they have 3 of them spawned here, completely identical. One of them is close to Fort Zancudo, practically in front there, a little to the left, down. The other one is close to Humane Labs, and the other one is near Mount Gordo, close to the ghost of Jolene Cranley. Anyway, you can see that they are exactly the same, right? Exactly the same model, because they have a crack in the front, at the bottom, which is supposedly what caused this boat to sink. And it's exactly the same in all 3, right? So you can see that Rockstar took exactly the same model. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, there is a version of this boat for sale in GTA Online. I don't remember which DLC it came out in, but I remember that when I used to play a lot of GTA Online back in the day, this boat wasn't available yet, and I think nowadays it is. Another location here, which even has a money briefcase. I think this one has a pretty low briefcase, right? I think it's 7,500, right? I don't remember. I remember I passed by here a lot when I did the briefcases video to bring it to you, but it's a Steamboat Red Dead 2 style. The first thing I have to say about this boat is that, man, it's extremely big. If you doubt it, I think, well, I can't measure it here in GTA 5, but I think it's bigger than the cargo ship in GTA 5. Dude, it's bizarre. Looking at it with the dry sea mod view, you see how big it is. It's huge. And there, like, I believe it's just a reference, right? To old games, to old ships, because it's extremely old, extremely rusty, and you don't have any version of it to use, whether with mod, without mod, GTA Online, and so on. Near this steamboat that's sunk there, we also have another cargo ship, very similar to the one we sank in the Merryweather Heist. However, the big difference here is that this one is completely wrecked, old. We can see a part of this cargo ship in one part of the map, and the other part up ahead, old. And along the way, you see several containers, you know, like on the ground, as if that ship was falling apart along the way. I have no idea what happened here, you know. It's kind of strange because I don't know how a ship would break apart, you know, leaving this trail. To me, I think the ship has to break apart sinking all at once, you know, like Titanic style, you know, in the same place. Anyway, right? Kind of crazy there's no trace of why this happens in the game, but oh well, there it is. And lastly, it's a ship that's right here near Los Santos, close to the port. It's also a huge ship, but this time it's not a cargo ship. You can tell it's not a cargo ship for 2 reasons. First, because it doesn't have any containers on top of it. So like you can already tell it's not a cargo ship. Actually, I didn't see any containers, okay? It might have some, but anyway, I didn't see. And second, it looks like a warship. First, because it looks like that big platform, you know, on top. So I don't know, it just gives me that impression. Maybe it's an old warship, not like the current ones. And there's a part up there that looks a lot like a tank, you know, like the top part of a tank. So if it wasn't a military ship or something like that, most likely it was a transport ship carrying military equipment among many other things, but definitely it wasn't a cargo ship. Moving away from ships and planes now, let's talk about some locations we have here underwater. I've shown a lot of locations here on the channel, especially in GTA 5 location videos or things like that, but let's go. The first location we have here to show, that I have to show you, actually looks like an oil platform. From what I researched on the internet, that's what it seems to be. Whenever I looked from afar, when I came to this location to grab a briefcase of $25,000, because there's a briefcase right here spawning with $25,000, I thought it was like a sunken submarine here. However, when you look like with the dry sea mod, you see that this area here is very large. So I did some research on the internet. It seems like it would be an oil platform, or I don't know, like a submarine dock. I don't know how this works, okay? But anyway, it's a very bizarre thing. There are several pipes here. I guess it would really be maybe an oil extraction platform or something like that was then abandoned. Next location here would be the whale skeletons near the game. There are two, okay? One near Fort Zancudo and one very close to this oil platform as well, okay? These two whale skeletons, the first time I saw them, I swore it was a sea monster skeleton, okay? After researching a lot on the internet, I ended up finding out that it has nothing to do with it. It's actually a whale skeleton. And after going to a museum where I was sure, where I saw a whale skeleton in front of me, I saw it here in the game. I said, damn man, it was a whale skeleton, and I was telling people it was a sea monster. Anyway, this video is very old, but anyway, we have these two whale skeletons which, man, are completely gigantic. I think that's why I thought it was a monster actually. And there is also a whale skeleton that appeared in GTA Online. It appears in the Cayo Perico heist, okay? There in the sea around the island. You can also find this same whale skeleton. The three are exactly the same. There is no difference from one to the other. But anyway, it's really cool to come down here and take a look. A pretty crazy part of the game here, right? I don't know what this place would be, but it's very close to the humane labs. Why? Because, dude, here we have like, man, what would be, I don't know, to me, a war arsenal. No joke, because here in this part, very close to the humane labs, you can see several military vehicles. Among these several military vehicles, you can find 4 tanks. There are 2 of a specific model, which I couldn't identify, I don't know, to bring the real reference to you guys. And the other 2 are in the German style, known as Panzers, which are slightly smaller tanks. The first 2 look more like the original tank from GTA 5. Anyway, in addition to these 4 tanks of war that are all very close to each other, there is a truck that looks a lot like it belongs to the army. Along with that back part, right, also fall into another place. In addition to collectible weapons which you can pick up, and old weapons which are just scenarios, like as if it were a missile from a tank or a missile from a ship. I don't know. There are several things fallen here, which suggests that here would be, I don't know, a war zone? I don't know, man. I don't know how all this stuff ended up here. And even more very close to this laboratory, it's very strange, because here I don't remember seeing any big boat that could be transporting that. And then, I don't know, the boat broke, ruptured, and then all the stuff fell there. Now going back to Easter eggs, right? But Easter eggs without direct connections to missions. We're going to have an Easter egg here, which is the GTA 5 hatch. I think this one is one of the most well-known in history, because right at the beginning it became very famous. This hatch, it makes a reference to GTA 4, right in the phone call that Roman makes and calls Nico, asking if he wants to play bowling. In this hatch, there is a Morse code, which basically, when translated, talks about this call, right? Exactly saying the sentence that Roman says to invite Nico to go out. Anyway, very bizarre. I don't know how the guys came up with this result, but anyway, it's there on the GTA wiki, so it must be true. A little further up on the map, there's a pretty bizarre thing. It would be a nuclear submarine. You can tell it's a nuclear submarine because of its model, right? So like, I quickly took a picture of it and my phone's AI recognized it as a nuclear submarine, which was widely used in the past. And man, it's kind of strange to be here because there's also no reference on the internet of how this possibly nuclear ship ended up here, suggesting that there could be some mystery or not. I don't know, it would be really crazy if there was some mystery about it, because man, a nuclear submarine, the guys even put the Kasatka in GTA Online, but it's not nuclear. Anyway, I don't know why it's here. If anyone knows any mystery, any clues, send it over and I'll try to find out. Besides that, there is another location that I have already shown a lot here on the channel in 2 location videos, which is a tire landfill. This tire landfill is a reference to a real life location. That was a project I think around 2007, 2008. If I'm not mistaken, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. In Florida. And then this tire landfill, from what I understood, was a huge failure, right? The guys tried to make an artificial landfill, an artificial island. I don't remember very well, right? I don't have this information in my head. But anyway, there is a direct reference to it here in GTA 5. Rockstar made a point of putting it here because Rockstar makes a lot of references to real life, which is very cool. Even the mysteries of GTA 5, right? Murders, these things, they are references to things that happen in real life. And lastly, one that is also well known, it's a flying saucer that we have here, sunken within GTA 5. This flying saucer, man, it's big. It looks a lot like the one that appears on Mount Chiliad, and it also appears there in Sandy Shores, up in the north. All the flying saucers in the game, actually the 3 that appear in the sky, they only appear after you reach 100%. However, this one here, since the beginning of the game, since the first mission, you can come here and this flying saucer will be here. It even has a little text there that you can't even read properly, and the bottom part of it is completely destroyed. There's a theory that most likely this flying saucer or its crash was referenced in one of the game's wallpapers, in that one where Trevor is holding the lighter. Behind him, right, there's like an arrow falling, like a trail, and if you follow that using the mod, basically you fall next to this flying saucer. So I don't know if it was a real reference or if I was just tripping from playing GTA 5 so much. And this video here is already coming to an end with all the underwater curiosities and secrets shown to you. But beyond this video, and even without the use of mods in GTA 5, there are more curiosities than you can imagine. By clicking here next to the yellow arrow, you'll see how to have a heart attack in GTA 5, and believe me, that's just the beginning. Big hug to all who enjoyed this video. Until the next video, and I'm out.